This is a presentation about intellectual property securitization. So, completely different thing. So, up to now, in order to create a security, there was basically two ways. Either the legal way or the contractual way. So there was only these two ways, essentially because securities up to now have been of 3 or 4 kinds, which are bonds, share of stock, and option, and a couple of on-term contracts, which are really sales contracts. There's been also warrants, but warrants were really a derivative from an act of property. It's been very recently that, due to the cryptocurrencies and the tokens and other kind of securities, of new securities, we have seen some new kind of securities emerge. And from this type of securities, listen, can you just please respect, thank you. So from this kind of securities, we've been in a situation that was a new kind of situation because some securities were more and more contractually created. They were created basically out sometimes of thin air or out of future hopes of profit or derivating royalties. Actually, a long time ago, it was another kind of security who really developed. And as for many things in finance, it came out and went away. Those were royalty securities. A lot of people who didn't want to loan money to a company were doing something very interesting. They were taking a piece of the income of the company for reimbursement. So instead of basically loaning an amount and waiting for a regular payment every month or every quarter or every year, what they were saying is, I'm loaning you $1 million, and what I want is 5% of your income, or 10% of your income. And actually, I had been at the origin of that creation of royalty securities because I had loaned money to my girlfriend. I had a Californian girlfriend, and I didn't want to ask for her for the payment every month or to play like a tough creditor, but I wanted also my money back. And that was a very elegant manner to say, for each month, you're going to pay X% of your income. So if you have a bad month, you're going to pay less. And if you have a good month, you're going to pay more. And it worked pretty well. And one man who is well known in the Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington, who arguably created what is now known today as the home shopping and the infomercial, basically used these two girls and made a lot of money on that same system. And this is also what developed to the fullest the home shopping network. So today I went one step further in the system. I just thought to myself, how could we securitize something else? And why couldn't we securitize something else? The first reason of why is basically we would like to invest in an idea directly, in an idea, not in a company. I don't want to know if the new CEO has a mistress and if she's expensive and if she's spending money on her. I want to invest selectively in one project, and I want to be bound to that project and not to the whole company and to the whole things that happen to them. The second reason to invest in this is that if you invest in intellectual property directly, You invest in technology or in culture. And when you invest in technology or in culture, you invest in something that is directly tax deductible. It's $1 tax deductible. The third reason is basically because you diversify your risk. Very often we see that when the market goes down, it's all of the market that goes down. There are very few counter-cycling stocks. They are very hard to find, and they are very hard to buy. Usually, the market goes up or goes down almost as a block. And if you want to diversify, you might want to have a different kind of security. The fourth reason to invest in intellectual property is because you want to support science, you want to support entertainment, music, art, or you want to contribute to a better world. So all of these are reasons to invest in intellectual property securities. Now, what can we actually securitize as intellectual property? The first thing we can securitize is movies. But it's not the only kind. We can also securitize cryptocurrencies. And it was very interesting because earlier in the main room, somebody was saying, oh, all cryptocurrencies are securities. Yes, but are they legally identified as such? And unless you securitize them, you might not know how you will be treated by the authority. So it might be actually very interesting to securitize them manually and to know which kind of treatment you're going to get. You can also securitize a technology, music, but more interestingly, you can securitize also a patent. Let's take an example of a very interesting patent. Everybody here is old enough to have played with floppy disks. No, floppy disks are nowadays inexistent here. Nobody uses them anymore, right? Do you know one company in New York City who still has floppy disk in their computer? Probably not. Guess what? Floppy disk patent has generated $170 million last year. Why? Because third world countries still use floppy disk. Now, do you know how much that patent who generated last year, 170 million, is on the IBM balance sheet? On the IBM balance sheet, it's shown as $1. It's made pro memoria, to remember that this patent belongs to them. Now, what do you think the chairman of IBM would say if you were able to say to him, look, if you securitize your patent, you might be able to raise $1 billion from the market without neither diluting equity, nor taking any interest rate, nor diminishing your cash flow. Isn't this a lot more interesting than what they currently do? So, the market size of intellectual property that could be securitized is hard to appraise. It's known that the major US companies have now about 14.5 trillion of intellectual property, which is listed at their cost price, or which is listed as $1 per memorial. The initial markets that we want to focus on are healthcare, music industry, and film industry. Music industry is now well damaged due to all piracy effect. But there's one thing that is for sure, it's a market that has a lot of interest. Then we also have other kind of systems that we could securitize through the same system. And of course, I didn't mention all the cryptocurrencies because right now the market is very difficult to appraise. Intellectual property securities are a new asset class. They will not behave as equity, and they will not behave as debt. They are a new animal. But what is very interesting in these new securities is that because they are a new animal, they don't have the same problem. They are not sensitive to interest rates in the same way. Of course, they are sensitive to liquidity of the market. And of course, they need to be promoted. But in my opinion, they're going to be a major player in the new upcoming market. We have a few victories about that. We draw the attention of a major director and producer with Steven Spielberg to have 23 movies, more than 60 million budget, put under intellectual property securities and listed to the NASDAQ. And we also got the NASDAQ approval for a straight IPO without a company of securitized intellectual property movie. Securitized movie, in fact. Initially, when we were dealing with that, we were doing it with the support of an entity. Initially, we were doing it through the same way as you do a real estate investment trust. Instead of doing a real estate investment trust, we were doing an intellectual property investment trust. But today, thanks to direct securitization, it's no longer necessary. It creates also a worldwide value creation because in most countries, there is nothing that refrains or attaches to a physical location, securitization of an intellectual property. If you have a company, this company is a Delaware company or a California company, and if you move it somewhere else, you need to open branch office or you need to open things. These intellectual property securities could move as fast and even better than cryptocurrencies because they don't need a new law to exist. They can exist with the existing law. It's a financial development. It's a way to raise money. If your company, let's take the previous company that was there, this selfie styler, he's got a great invention. The numbers are completely, inadequate. But if you believe in his invention, I would invest in his invention. And I would not necessarily invest in him as a manager, but I would bet a lot of money on his invention. IP securities allow to do that. We can ask, who is interested in it? Obviously, the inventor who doesn't have the money, the companies of all size, the entrepreneur who is starting, the producer, whether it's a movie or a music producer, and whoever wants to finance or refinance his intellectual property cost. The objectives of our company, of this Intellectual Property Securities Corporation, are to transform IP rights into valued and negotiable securities. It's to optimize a straight-through processing, and it's to develop an integrated software system. We provide various services, and I don't want to run through all services that this company will provide. But what is very interesting to see is that we can have the securitization of existing IP rights, such as old movies, or we can also have the securitization of new or future rights, movies that don't yet exist and need to be financed, like in the case of Mr. Spielberg. This company is also organizing crowdfunding around those movies and syndication and management of IP securities. So it will be a full-fledged service that will allow each one of these services to basically be provided by that company. We are going to go through various stages, and these stages can be seen in the following way. It's a development over 4 years, but the good thing is that the company gets profitable from day one. That means this company will not have one single year in the red figures. Why? Because when we securitize a movie, usually we get paid by the movie producer. And why? Because the movie producer, if you tell him for 10% down on the table, I'll provide you 100% of your financing, he's your man. Usually, he pays more than that on 1 year of interest that he borrows. But if you give to him the whole financing for 1/10 of the amount, well, you've won him. So, because of that, if you take a movie of, let's say, let's take standard figures, a movie of $60 million, which is basically the low end in Steven Spielberg movie. Normally they are between 60 million and 250 million or more. But even if you take a $60 million movie and we charge Mr. Spielberg 6%, so it's already 3.6 million, and it's this 3.6 million or less cost, or more money, sorry, than our burning rate. The burning rate of that company is about 1.8 million. So it's profitable from the first movie, and we have 23 of them to be financed. The second phase will be to operate syndication with major corporations who are financing movies, or also with people who want to invest directly. It's my opinion that the movie, because the financial community wants less and less to take risk, over a short period of time, what will happen is that the only people who will really take risk are the consumers. You can imagine that in a supermarket, with this system, you could have a box that costs $100. You buy that box. In that box, there is a T-shirt of the movie or 2 T-shirts of the movie. There are 2 tickets for the first show, the avant-première, and there is 1 certificate or 2 certificates showing that you own a small fraction of the movie. And actually, this could be sold to consumer. I have detailed the whole revenue model in that slide, but due to the circumstances and due to the audience tonight, I won't go through it. All I would like to say is that we are paid directly by the production company when it's about a movie, and we also can get or keep a share on the movie itself once it's successful. So it's actually a multiple income stream on one single operation. To demonstrate, how this could work. Basically, it's we have not put the sound on this video. The idea basically is the securitization of intellectual property as I explained it. And it's basically summarizing all the terms that you got throughout this presentation. What I would like to conclude with is that right now we are in a situation where this is going to be booming, and we are basically organizing a Reg A+, which should launch in September, and which is already almost fully subscribed. So there's about 90% of the money already raised. And I think this is going to be a major actor first in the movie production, and then in the cryptocurrency securitization, because it's the only way where cryptocurrencies can be securitized in a controlled manner and not, just qualified by the legislator or the SEC. I thank you for your attention.